Hey, unbuckle. We're not going to the shed.
To win.
Good.
He's in?
No.
Go?
Yes. Can you put your face back on, Dad? Black?
What is it?
Face back
A
on?
little bit.
I got some truck. You put it as hard as right, Dad. Is it?
What?
How's it hard?
What hard?
What's he doing? What are you for?
Clean the fuel injectors.
Never do it.
Oh, this after a while you gotta clean them.
You have to.
No shit.
Why? How do you don't?
It'll run really rough. Won't run right.
Can you get that back on the car?
A little bit. Just chill. Not right now. I'm gonna get it maybe tomorrow.
Not yet. Take your one yourself the card.
But the Baron von Steuben is my favorite. When he arrived at Valley Forge, not only in the sleigh with the horses and the jingle bells, he had his pocket greyhound, Azor, in his lap. He was decked out in a silk uniform with these two big horse pistols, and in his wake was a retinue of
Stinking?
aides and servants
Or
and
cheat?
assistants, and even a French chef he had brought along, who, by the way, quit 48 hours after
Fall
I
down?
the conditions at Valley Forge. He said, "No way, I'm staying here." So, and as Tom alluded to,
What?
this guy arrived in Valley Forge with a resume more doctored up than the Mayo Clinic. He was a soldier of fortune. The one thing that is true is that he had fought in Frederick the Great's Prussian army. Now, Frederick the Great and his army, in fact, his army was known as an army with a country as opposed to a country with an army. Frederick the Great was renowned throughout the Western world as the most feared military leader in the world. And von Steuben had risen to captain in this army. But when the European wars stopped, he kind of wandered around looking for a job as a soldier of fortune.
And you've been listening to Bob Drury and Tom Clavin telling the story,
What?
the remarkable story of Valley Forge. And my goodness, that moment where Martha leaves the comfort of Mount Vernon
no
in
monsters in the
February
car.
of 78 to visit her husband
She has it with her.
at Valley Forge, again, in February. It's unbelievable. And this was no duck walk taking that ride. There was no mass transit, folks. And also, this character, von Steuben, who, if you grew up where I grew up in northern New Jersey, there are von Steuben houses all over the place. Because he really did become the man he'd never been. And actually became a man well superior to his phony, doctored up resume. Doctored up like the Mayo Clinic. I'll remember that one and use it. When we come back, more of this remarkable story, Valley Forge, here on Our American Stories.
In a world where a violent crime is committed every 24 seconds, it's crucial to be prepared to defend yourself and your loved ones. That's where the U.S. Concealed Carry Association comes in. Simply owning a gun is not enough, which is why the USCCA provides over 800,000 Americans with the firearms education, hands-on training, and access to self-defense liability insurance they need for when trouble comes. And right now, there's an exclusive, limited-time offer for radio listeners. Visit defendfamily.com to get a free family defense guide and a survival secrets training video from a retired FBI agent. Both of these are jam-packed with insider tips on home security, situational awareness, and personal protection strategies that could save your life. Plus, when you visit defendfamily.com, you'll discover all the benefits of becoming a USCCA member and joining the fastest-growing firearms community in America. Visit defendfamily.com to get a free family defense guide and a survival secrets training video from a retired FBI agent. Go to defendfamily.com now before this offer ends.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Now, the most up-to-date weather forecast here on FEQ.
Pretty nice weather for the rest of our weekend. Just a few clouds for the overnight hours and mid-60s. Pretty warm on Sunday. We're headed for the mid-80s. Should be a sunny day. Clear Sunday night and low 60s, and then about the same for Monday and Tuesday with mid to upper 80s. Sunshine both days, maybe a shower Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace. All of us have a role to play in making that happen. So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodation.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the support they need to deliver on the job. To the team
and to the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward, even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best at finding
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them, safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this path together, all of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
To learn how Child Fund works with children in 23 countries to help them achieve their full potential, visit childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
Local small businesses make up a major portion of the economy, and places like our restaurant really define the personality of a city or neighborhood.
Small businesses are the heart and soul of a community.
Without them, we wouldn't have survived. Hi, I'm Congressman Sam Graves. Make sure to support our local small businesses because they are the core of our communities.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is Barry Burr. Join me on the hotline weekday mornings at 8. I talk with you and with guests about what's happening in local, regional, and national news. It's a lively discussion, a community forum on 680 KFEQ.
And we continue with our American stories, and the story of Valley Forge is told to us by Bob Drury and Tom Clavin. Let's return to the final installment of Valley Forge.
And von Steuben eventually ended up in Paris. And the French foreign minister, who was a big American supporter, and eventually worked Louis XVI so much that that's what made the French come into the war. But Divergent, he saw something in von Steuben, and he introduced him to Franklin and Franklin's associate diplomat Silas Dean. Now, these two guys, they were, oh man, Washington has written so many letters to us. Don't send me any more of these deadbeats, these soldiers of fortune, these, and this is a quote from, I read over 2,000 of George Washington's memos, private correspondence, official proclamations. I personally read these general orders, the correspondence between Congress, and this is my favorite word. He said, send me no more popinjays. We don't use that word anymore. But von Steuben, he sits down within 3 interviews with Franklin and Silas Deane. They realized this guy's the real deal. Because Frederick the Great had one rule in his army that no other Western army had. And this was every officer would get down and work and live with the enlisted men. Everyone else thought this was beneath them, including the Continental Army. Every other army bequeathed this job to non-commissioned officers, sergeants, and corporals. And when von Steuben started telling Franklin, this is how I'll drill them, this is how I'll train them, this is what I'll do, they realized Washington, as strong as his will was in keeping this army together, as Tom elucidated, it was really a collection of disparate militias. Shoemakers, farmers, sailors, miners, shopkeepers. They had no idea how to fight as one well-oiled machine. So Franklin and Silas Deane, they said, oh, all right, okay, we got to send von Steuben over, but he's only a captain. So suddenly those captain bars disappeared and he had stars on his shoulder. And suddenly he was not only an inspector general of the Prussian army, the vaunted Prussian army, but an aide to Frederick the Great himself. This is how he arrives in Valley Forge. Now, George Washington has no clue. He knows Frederick the Great. Oh, this is one of his inspector generals. Okay, let's go. On von Steuben's first day in camp, he decides to take an unofficial inspection tour. Here's this guy showing up in his fancy pants European uniform with all the medals, and he's walking into these filthy, dirty huts, and he starts interviewing Continental soldiers about their sanitary habits, about, do you know what the difference is between an ordinary march and a quick march? Within a week, he had issued a series of memos to Washington. This is where you must dig the latrines. These latrines you have dug. No wonder there's so much disease in this camp. You got to put them on the downhill slope on the other side, away from the ovens that are baking bread. You know what? And let's grade these little paths in front of the huts, and let's make them regimental routes to make this army feel more professional. So Washington's all into this. And so he gives von Steuben 100 men, his own personal guard of 50, and 50 other men taken from the States, equally. And he said, you are going to be von Steuben's sub-trainers. Von Steuben takes them out on the parade ground of Valley Forge. The very first day, there's 100 men. There's thousands of other Continental soldiers. They have nothing else to do but, as Tom said, starve and freeze to death. They're all watching. Von Steuben spends the very first morning, the entire morning, teaching them the correct way to stand at attention. He goes on. He teaches them how to wheel. You know, one of the great myths of the American Revolution is the Minuteman, you know, slinking through the copse of trees or hiding behind a boulder and picking off these square British redcoats in their battle formation. And yes, there were times when this Indian fighting techniques that the Americans had, that it worked. But for the most part, these people needed how to learn how to march quick step into battle, how to wheel, how to stand when a cannonball or grape shot was taking off the head of the guy next to you, how to not fire until you were ordered to fire. Von Steuben starts teaching the Continental Army how to do this, how to become a professional army. And my favorite thing about von Steuben, if I could go back, I wouldn't go back. They said you go back to Valley Forge, you meet one person, it wouldn't be Washington. Although he is a protagonist and the hero of our book, it would be von Steuben, because he's this Falstaffian character. He spoke he had no English. So Washington assigned John Lawrence and Alexander Hamilton. Von Steuben spoke French and German. Hamilton and Lawrence both spoke French.